So a phrase I hear all the time from golfers is that they'd like to compress the ball better, hit the ball further with more accuracy. So by the end of today's video, I'm going to help you understand with a really simple little thought and feeling in your golf swing, how you're going to start crushing it and compressing that golf ball better than ever. So the first thing I would say is when most golfers tell me they want to compress the ball better, what they tend to do at impact is produce lots and lots of loft, get very little forward shaft lean, maybe even getting the shaft leaning backwards. And as a result of that, as they come into the ball, the low point of their swing tends to be a little bit behind the ball. They can fat it, thin it, and even the well-struck ones tend to just pop up in the air. There's no real control. And we can see that shot on TrackMan, even though I've got my low point ahead, 84.5 mile an hour club head speed, smash all the way down at 1.22, and a carry of 140 yards. So, first of all, what is compressing the golf ball better? Well, it's not just about striking the golf ball and then the ground, but it's about getting that club leaning forward more and de-lofting the club whilst maintaining the strike so that we transfer more energy from the club head to the golf ball. And where a lot of golfers really struggle with that is as they swing down into impact, the body stops, the hands and arms then continue, and to try and square that club face up, they actually end up adding loft to the club. So for most golfers, what they need to feel is that ability to get that left hip out of the way, the chest opening up a bit more, and that drags the arms, hands, win the race to ball, and that's where we get that nice impact position. But a lot of golfers that I see face to face, the first thing they talk about is they don't feel that they're flexible enough to get the hips opening up. And when they do try and open the body up, they tend to feel that there's no real strike, they lose the path, the club face is wide open, and it becomes a very glancing blow. So what I want you to understand is, if we're going to get that body opening up, what we need to feel, first of all, is that we get the weight and the pressure moving into that lead foot. But then the feeling I want you to have is you're going to feel like you're going to try and slide that lead foot towards the golf ball. Now, as I push that, you can see the ground's resisting, so it makes that hip open up. And if I just got into my address position and then pushed that lead foot, as I'm talking about, straight away, my hands go forward, my body opens up, and that would be much more where we'd like to be at impact. So it's a very different thought and a very different feeling for a lot of golfers. So if you need to initially have a few practice swings and get that feel. So from the top, we're going to move left, feel like we slide that foot. Now, if you haven't got any pressure on that foot, the foot can move. But as long as you've got pressure on that lead foot, you're going to interact with the ground better. So a couple of practice swings. And even for me, that feels much more like my body's open towards the target. And I definitely feel that I get more interaction with the ground as well. Certainly my bad one is the body stops, hands take over, and I get it too much on the inside, almost with that flip kind of feeling through impact. So one more practice swing, and that feels really strong. Now, obviously when I'm practicing and for this video, I'm going to use TrackMan to help see some numbers. So what I'd ideally be looking for a golfer who doesn't do this movement particularly well, even though they hit a good shot like that, we'll see low point slightly ahead, so the club's travelled down 2 degrees, my launch angle at 24.4 degrees, and even though that's got out at 163 yards carry, there won't have been a lot of spin on that ball. So I'm going to really focus on that movement with the lead foot, get onto that weight, onto the lead, feel like it slides. So from there, now feels such a more solid contact. My low points moved slightly ahead to 3 inches, meaning the club's travelled down 3.4 degrees. My launch angle's suddenly gone from 24.5 to 16.7. Actually a bit more club head speed, but a lot more ball speed. Smash at 1.41, carry at 1.73. Now, for anybody who's unsure as to what smash factor is, when I've referred to it, it's just simply how efficiently we transfer the energy from the club to the ball. The most it should be is 1.5, and that'd be with driver. Obviously, driver's got lots less loft. To give you an idea, PGA Tour average is 1.33. Now, mine there was 1.41. Doesn't mean that I'm more efficient than a PGA Tour player. What it means is potentially my 7-iron's a little less lofted than theirs, and that was a nice exaggerated move for me. But like I said, it felt really powerful, good strike, and you could see from the distance, more distance on the shot. So let's go again. Feel that everything opens up from pushing with that lead foot, and let's get that ball really, really compressed. Now, it didn't feel quite as good a strike, so a tiny bit towards the heel, but again, 3.9 inches ahead, 4.5 degrees down, launching at 16 degrees, again nice and quick at 88 mile an hour, and just under 170 carry. Now, particularly if you're somebody who is maybe a drawer or a hooker of the golf ball, what you'll tend to find is as your swing is more from the inside, your low point might be too far back, and the way you release the club is that way. So that's very much how I historically have swung the golf club. So this feels a very, very different movement. And obviously it's not taking me too many swings, but this is something I do practice for my own game. So we're going to get there again. Once that's set, really focus on that movement. Maybe just a tiny bit thin. So low point moving even further ahead. Club face will have been a little bit open there, so that's why the launch angle was a smidge higher. But again, we can see smash factor up and carry super, super far. Now, most guys tell me, you know, I'd love to hit the ball a bit further, and particularly golfers who say they need to compress it more. Quickest way, obviously, if you can build club head speed, it helps. But if you can start presenting less loft at impact, that's a really quick way of getting more distance. But if you can't get the body opening up, it's incredibly difficult to get excessive shaft lean. So we're going to go 2 more good ones. We're going to get set there, really exaggerate the feeling. Felt about as good as it gets. 3.5 inches ahead. Launch angle 18.5 degrees. Ball speed 122 and 178 total. So one final one. Can I get even quicker with that movement? Swing felt good. Felt a little bit out the toe, and it was. My club head speed did go up, that's what I was trying for. Low point 4.5 inches ahead. So even though there the strike wasn't great, still some good efficiency, good carry. And if you can really focus on that movement, getting that pressure onto that lead foot, and then feeling like you're trying to slide the foot towards the ball, the hips will open, chest will open up. If you wanted to, feel like you'd have a bit more lag in the downswing. Not too bothered about that phrase myself. But if you start de-lofting the clubs, you're going to compress the ball better and start hitting some phenomenal golf shots.